And I was invited today to speak on the subject how to manage data storage and COVID-19 in a COVID-19 world from the research perspective. So basically, the conversation today is going to be centered around the following: the evolution of data storage, data loss, data mitigation, data restoration, and data recovery. So when technology started to evolve, digital data became the fuel that kept the machines running, and the essence of the black box becoming relevant. And when I say a black box, I mean computer
Mr. Foster,
device.
can you please, raise your voice a bit so that we can hear?
Became the primary fuel that kept the engine running for these devices. And the more they wanted to mine and play with data and see how machines can make it simpler to compute raw data into or process data into information, more devices or more tools were invented to be able to store larger data sets or larger data sources. So looking back at as late as 1960s, when computer device started to evolve, magnetic tapes were the primary tools that we were using for data storage. And the largest data it costs how do you call it, 1,791 euros or pounds for a gigabyte. And this was as large as a room or several rooms to be able to store information with 1 gigabyte. And imagine how expensive that was. Today, 1,700 pounds can actually buy several hard drives, can buy several laptop computers, etc., etc. Then in the 70s, the floppy to store their data. You hear of Google Drive, you
Mr. Foster.
hear of Box.
Mr. Foster. Hello. 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 Hello.
Drive. You hear of Amazon cloud storage. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Hello, Gideon. Is there any challenge? I can hear you.
Okay, fine. Because I was asking that if you could, increase maybe your microphone so that we can hear, because we are also recording the lecture. So that's why I was kindly asking for you to perhaps increase your volume maybe in terms of your mic so that we can hear and record properly. Thank you.
Noted. Okay, so that's it about the evolution of storage. As it has become part of our daily lives, one of the biggest challenges we face on a daily basis is losing our data. And data loss is basically referred to how we end up losing data from the original location where we stored it or we saved the information or data for later referencing. And there are several things that end up causing personal data loss or data loss on our personal devices. Usually deleting the files accidentally, virus and damage by malwares through maybe you downloaded or copied a file onto your device and you didn't know it was an infected file, and it ends up corrupting your entire file system on your laptop or your hard drive, and so you lose everything. Then mechanical damages on the hard drive, it could be that the hard drive fell or something hit your laptop, or there was an impact on the laptop. which affected the hard drive, or you had an external drive and it fell or something hit it. Stuff like that is what we refer to as mechanical damages, or power outages, which ended up resulting in crashing your hard drive, and so you were trying to restart it and the hard drive was no more functioning. When your laptop or your device or your hard drive or your storage device is stolen, it results in data loss as well. When you accidentally spill water or coffee or anything liquid onto your devices, and it results in you losing the functionality of your drive or device. And then maybe fires, accidents, and also other explosions that may occur in the process of you handling your device or finding yourself in a situation like that. On to the right of the slide, you see a fair representation in terms of causes of data loss. The highest amongst them is hardware failure, where your hard drive accidentally goes off and is unable to function anymore. Always remember that a machine is only efficient as long as it is kept well and could fail you at any point in time, because it is only a machine, right? And so hardware failure contributes to the highest. Human error comes second after that, and then number 3 is software corruption, which usually is resulted by maybe a wrong update or an update that came with a bug, or you installed a software that wasn't meant for your device or may have higher requirements than your device can accommodate. And so it puts a strain on the hardware and it causes it to get damaged at the end of the day. So you may want to take note of some of these things and ensure that you try to mitigate them as much as you can. Let's all imagine a day when you don't need to worry about losing your data, where you are able to do everything and it goes directly to the cloud and protects you from losing that data. So it brings us to the subject of data loss mitigations or data mitigation strategies. And these are steps you take to limit the amount of data that can be lost on your device. And it takes attitude and practice to make this a part of you. The easiest thing that comes to mind to store your personal data, for the sake of this conversation, we will not go deep and talk about the technicalities of storing data in complex systems like organizations, etc., etc. And so 2 key areas where you can back up your data is your hard drive, an external hard drive, or your cloud storage. Nowadays, our devices come with, so Google Drive, for example, can allow you to create a local file system that automatically backs up the data onto your cloud account. And so you can access it remotely wherever you are on any device at any point in time. And it is becoming habitual for some people to save all their files, especially files that are not too heavy, like documents you work with. You're working on a research, for example, or a paper, and then or you've collected data from somewhere. Rather than store it on your local device, it would be best to upload it to your Google Drive. If it's an Excel sheet, there's Google Sheet. If it's a doc, there's Google Doc. If it is PowerPoint, there's Google Slides. And then you can store the rest of the data, if it's videos, audios, etc., in files on your Google Drive, on your box, OneDrive, etc. That way, wherever you go on any device, you can just sign in and access the content. It also allows you to remote work with other people. For example, if you're working on a shared document or a shared slide or a shared sheet, you're able to work as a team or as a group on a particular project simultaneously. Everyone sees their edits, everyone sees comments, and are able to respond in real time. The advantage of this is to allow you also track back at every point in time, the state of the document. So if you made certain edits and then at the end of the day, you realize that you missed some information, you can always go back to the log and retrieve the document in that state. Maybe the document was saved at 10:45 on Monday. Tuesday, it was saved at 10:15. Wednesday, it was saved at 7:15. Now, if you go through the document and you realize that you deleted something that has become relevant again, you go back to Monday and restore the file from Monday at 10:15 to be able to get that part of the file that was deleted. And then now you can extract that, duplicate the file, and input it into your new or your current live document you are working with. There are different types of hard drives. There's solid state drives, there's HDD, the hard disk drive. The solid state drive usually compresses the file into a state that allows it to save more files with a smaller space. So it compresses, encrypts, and saves the file. The HDD, which is the other alternate to SSD, it just saves the files the way they are, even though it encrypts and saves them in a certain format so that it's safe. SSDs are usually quite expensive compared to HDDs, and they tend to be smaller in size and more lightweight compared to HDDs. So depending on the type of person you are and the type and how much financial strength or investment you are willing to make into acquiring some of these devices, you may want to consider one of the options that fits into your budget and is convenient for you. It's one thing to have a backup of a file on OneDrive, but it's important to save multiple states of that same file on different devices, because if there's a mechanical impact on your external drive and you had only one and your laptop got stolen during the same period, you've lost everything. But assuming you stored a portion of it or all of it or a duplicate of everything on the cloud storage, at the end of the day, you are able to go back to your documents and check. It costs about $1.99 to have an iCloud drive of 100 gigabytes. It costs about $7 to $8, which is approximately 40 something cedis, to have a Google Cloud storage of 100 gigabytes. So you may want to consider some of these investments as an alternate way to save most of your files, especially graduate students when you're working on research works and your laptops tend to fail you at certain times, or you get lost and you have to start the whole project entirely. It's better to do it right from the beginning by start working online and saving your items on a cloud storage to save yourself from circumstances like that. In case you end up losing your data, there's something called data recovery, and these are steps taken to recover the lost files from any storage medium on your any storage medium. It could be your hard drive, it could be your laptop's drive, it could be a pen drive, etc., etc. And there are certain tools that you may want to adopt to be able to recover your data. These are a list of some of the tools which you can employ. Some of them are paid, some of them have free versions. The free versions limit the amount of data you can recover, and the pro versions allow you to recover certain data size, sometimes even all the data on the file. And you'll be able to see, so if you take this drill, for example, you can use it on a Windows or a Mac device. It supports recovering documents, videos, archives, music, and photos. And it tells you the file system that it's able to recover in. So if you know which file system your hard drive is formatted to, it allows you to know what recovery solution would work best for recovering the data you lost on that particular drive. You can go through all these as well. I'll probably share a link to this this table so that you can reference it for yourself and explore which one to use as and when you have any challenges. At this point, I am open to take questions. Any questions?
It doesn't look like there's any hands that have been raised, so and no questions have been asked. for now at the Q&A session. So you can proceed. I'm sure when you have other questions, I'm sure that
so
if there's no question, it means that maybe they understand.
Yeah, so
the,
this is the end of the presentation. So I am
okay.
open to having a discussion if there are any questions that anyone has to ask.
Okay. So for me, let me ask this question. So I can see the advanced discovery and all the things. These are the types of, these are the ways to store data, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask
These are
that.
the ways to recover your lost data on a drive.
Okay, okay, okay. So then I will thank you very much. I think I'll take note. Somebody has asked, somebody has raised his hand to Gaspar. If you have any question.
Yeah, hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
so go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted him to elaborate more on the cloud. I mean, how you go about getting the cloud and all that he's talking about. That is the new, we can just throw more light on it, having a cloud attached to your Android or the PC.
Okay. So Microsoft has OneDrive. OneDrive automatically comes with any Windows PC. You just need to have an account. So you sign up for a Microsoft account, either a Hotmail or a live.com mail, and it will allow you to be able to access the OneDrive to be able to store your devices. It may give you a certain storage limit, and you would have to purchase extra storage if you need it. And this is automatically on your local drive. So you can create a small file system where you are able to upload items over there to reference later on. If you use a MacBook, there's iCloud Drive for you. iCloud Drive, you are given, I think, 50 gig as a basic, or 5 gig as a basic, and you would have to upgrade if you want to store more files on your iCloud Drive. So once you install these applications, you can also install Google Drive on any of either a Mac or a Windows or a Linux device. Once you install the Drive application, the Google Drive application, for example. So if you have a Gmail, you have a Google Drive. And Google Drive gives you 15 gigabytes for free as a basic plan. And you can buy extra if you need it. For example, I have exhausted my 15 gig. So I am on a 100 gig plan now where I save most of my documents and lightweight files online that I can access remotely from anywhere I go. And so that way, and it also stores the same storage is where your emails are all stored and all of that. So you may want to increase that bandwidth to be able to accommodate more data on the device. And I was talking about the extra features or the value-added services that these online drive platforms allow you to. So Microsoft, for example's OneDrive is connected to, so we have Office Online, right? Office 365. Office 365 allows you to, it's built on the cloud. So it allows you to be able to access your documents, PowerPoint, edit them in the cloud without having to download them onto your PC or have PowerPoint, Word, Excel, all their tools, all their word processing and number crunching tools on your local device. You can do that remotely, and it stores all those files on OneDrive for you. So once you are in a Windows ecosystem or Microsoft ecosystem, and that is where you want to operate in, or you find comfort in operating in, you have to employ those tools. If you are a Google person, you can employ Google Drive. Google has Google Sheets, Google Docs, Google Slides that allow you to edit and save all these things. It has Google Photos for you to save your photos there. And there are other tools that you may want to explore within the Google ecosystem to save all your documents, files, videos, etc. on them. You can also collaboratively work on platforms, on any of those word processing or number crunching tools with other people you are working on projects with. So you just share the documents with them, and then, or you give them editor access. You can give them viewing access, editor access, and by those privileges, they are able to either comment on the file, make inputs into the actual document, and the likes. So that is basically how the cloud storage devices work. Someone was asking about Mendeley. Mendeley is basically a reference management software for researchers, right? It allows you to keep academic references. It is also like a social media network that you can use to engage other researchers, showcase your work, connect and collaborate with other researchers locally and globally across the globe. And you can also generate bibliographies for scholar articles, etc. from there. So you can explore that tool as well for research purposes, especially.
There's another
Someone
question.
is asking about how to help you get Google Cloud.
Yes.
So just type drive.google.com, right? Drive.google.com. Drive.google.com. Anyone who has a Google Drive, anyone who has a Gmail account automatically has a Google Drive. So when you type drive.google.com, you just sign in with your, let me just see if I can share one of my screens for you to see. Okay, so this is a Google Drive, for example. It's loading. Oops. Sorry, 1 second. So this is a Google Drive, right? I go to my Drive. I'm able to see all my folders, all my files. I can come here and search, do an advanced search of photos, PDFs, documents, spreadsheets, presentations, forms, even Google Forms. When you do your surveys using Google Forms, they are all saved in your Google Drive. So you can always reference them on any day, audio, video, archives, drawings, shortcuts, sites, etc., etc. So I'm able to save all these projects over here and find them at any point in time. If I owned it or someone shared it with me, I can. So if someone shared a file with me and I go to shared with me, I can see all the files that were shared with me, right? And be able to edit them as and when. They are always going to be here. You always, so the more you buy, the more you get to store. So you see what I said? I have expanded from 15 gig to 100 gig. So now I am on a 100 gig plan and I've only used 15.8 gig because the basic plan gives you 15 gig, which I exhausted. So you can click to buy more storage if you need more storage. Same as your PC, you can access recent files that you have opened on the drive. So shared with me is like files that someone shared with you. And the person gave you the privilege to maybe view the file or comment in the file and all of that. If you want to save specific, you want to start specific documents for like favorite specific documents for easy access, shortcuts and all of that, you keep them here. Inside your trash is where all your files that you are no more in need of, if you put them like your recycle bin on your PC, this is what the trash replaces as a recycle bin on the cloud. And now Google has a policy that says your files in your trash will be saved for 30 days, and after that, they'll be permanently deleted from the cloud to make space, because the fact that they are still in your trash means they are still occupying storage data. So you may want to totally take them out if you're not going to need them anymore. Are we on the same page? I hope I have been able to answer your question.
Justin, you have your hands raised. Can you
Yes,
ask your
please.
question?
Yes, please. Good morning. And
Good
thanks for
morning.
the presentation. I have one quick issue. I use a Word or the Office 365. And just 2 days ago, I opened and then it's like all the, I don't know whether that's the right terminology, the icons, everything is deactivated, and it's telling me that it's expired. So all my work for now, I cannot have access to them. even though I see the work, but I can't edit, I can't copy. So I don't know how to really recover my work.
Okay,
That's my concern.
so Microsoft Office tools are licensed tools, and they usually will give you a free period for trial, and after that you would have to pay a subscription to have access to all the tools on Office 365.
Okay.
Now, once you are unable to make that payment, you will not be able to use the tools on your laptop because they have expired. The shortcut to that is upload your files to Google Drive, right? Once you upload the files to Google Drive, if it is a Word file and you click the file, you tell let me show you. Let me just share my screen 1 second. Okay. Now this is a Word file, right? You see W over here.
So it's not showing.
This. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can see it now.
Okay, so this is a Word file. I uploaded it from my PC's Word documents, right?
Okay.
Now, when I click on this, I will right-click, open with, then I come here and I say open with Google Docs.
Okay.
So now I'm able to edit the file straight from here. This is also a word processor, and I can use it to do whatever I need to do.
Okay.
Are we on the same page?
Yes, please.
Fantastic. So you may not need to buy the license.
Okay.
But then it means that you need to work online most of the time. But yes. Google Drive, if you install the Google Drive application on your PC, you can configure to be able to work offline.
Okay.
And working offline means even when you don't have the internet, you can still access the files. And when you connect to the file, it automatically updates. When you connect to the internet, it automatically updates it onto the cloud for you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Excel,
thanks very much.
All of that. Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So another question is here that concerning the data recovery solutions, you mentioned some few tools like disk drill, advanced disk recovery. Are there simple system recovery softwares already installed on PCs to help us say recover simple files that are mistakenly deleted instead? That's a question from someone.
Okay, so if you use Microsoft has a local recovery tool on the device. You can just go to your search and type recovery, disk recovery or anything. It will show the tools available on it. If you use a MacBook, there's something called a time machine. The time machine allows you to go back in time to be able to recover certain tools. But that would mean that you should have activated the time machine as a portion of your device to be able to access that particular device, to be able to access that particular data. I don't know if I've been able to answer your question.
Okay, well, that's it. For me, my question is that on the recovery of things, photos or documents that we have lost, does it mean that do you have to have saved it somewhere for you to recover, or the apps or the softwares that you showed to us on your last slide, are they softwares that you can use even if you have not saved your documents or your photos somewhere and you want to retrieve them?
No. For you to recover a file, it should have been saved in an original location that you had an idea, a fair idea of. And so maybe you mistakenly deleted it or it crashed.
Yes, because my mind is that maybe my laptop I cannot maybe access my hard drive, right? And then I want to retrieve some things in the hard drive, right? Then
yes,
even though I have not saved it anywhere. Yes, I've not saved it
if
anywhere.
it was, if you saved it on the drive that you want to retrieve it from, that is what we call data recovery.
Okay. And so those softwares you indicated in your last slide are the softwares that
so
you
what they do is to go back in time. They go back in time at a particular instance and recover the data from there. But it's not every recovery tool that has the ability to go maybe 10 months, 11 months, 12 months, 2 years, 3 years. And some of the recovery tools are able to identify specific file formats like videos, documents, zipped files, these things exactly. So it's not every recovery tool that can recover all types of files.
Okay. So depending on the recovery tool, you know the kind of files you can recover. Is that so?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. I wish you could maybe break down maybe some simple recovery tools that we can use, maybe photos and documents. This software can help you. Recordings and something, this software can help you. That kind of thing, so that at least we have a fair idea of.
So that is exactly what this slide does, right? It tells you the recovery tool, what platform you can use the recovery tool on. For example, advanced disk recovery is only for Windows PCs, right? It can record, it can recover audio, video, text, and all other file types. And it doesn't necessarily need to have a specific file system structure.
Okay.
But it is a paid platform.
Okay.
Are we on the same page?
Yes, I get it.
This table answers your question, if I'm right.
Okay. So another question is that, does that mean that if you have a Gmail account, any document sent to you to your mail will be saved on the Google Drive, or you will have to save it yourself? And if you save it yourself, then how do you go about it? This is from Anson Ajikum.
Okay. When you open a file on your Google Drive, right? Let me see if I can just try gmail.com. One second, I am just trying to open my Gmail and show you how to add a file to your cloud.
Okay.
Okay, let me share my screen now. Now you see this file. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we can, but we see it as blank. Okay, we can see. We can now see.
Good. Now, when you go on the file attachment here, you see this? It says add to drive. So immediately I click this, it will save. I can determine where in my Google Drive it should save it by clicking on organize. And it is opening my Google Drive right in the email. And I can determine whether to create a new folder or save it in an existing folder. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Then I have saved it there. Or I can download it. This, if I click this, it will download it automatically to my PC. Does it answer your question?
I think that the question has been answered. Any other question, please? I don't see any hand. Okay, then I will assume that there is no question as far as this particular lecture is concerned. So, Mr. Foster Kugli, thank you very much for honoring our invitation to actually, come and give us a fair perspective as to how we can manage our data storage amid COVID-19. And of course, since we are all going to write a research paper, and it is bound to happen that we'll write a research paper, we are happy that you have you have been here to teach us what we must know. So thank you very much. So colleagues, on this note, we are done for today's webinar. We would inform you as and when we have other activities coming. Thank you very much and have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.